So Chris Christie's number one target, as you all know, has been Donald Trump. In fact, his whole campaign is basically a kamikaze campaign against Trump. He's basically being a martyr. One time he was like, I'm not being paid to do this, which made me go, wait, are you being paid to do this? I feel like he's a donor creation, and he's being unleashed on Trump as the guy to take down Trump, to kind of clear the path for somebody else. I don't know if he really thinks he can win. I know that it's a super, super tough line for him to walk because the majority of the Republican base is so high on Trump that it's hard to cut through all that noise, but he's trying, right? He's doing that, but to my surprise, he also now is starting to go after DeSantis. Wow. See, my main thought was like, no, he's going after Trump to try to clear a path, and that path, after it's cleared, is likely going to be for DeSantis to go through, right? Like, he's the one that's been in the number 2 position for a really, really long time now. So what Christie's trying to do is take down Trump and allow DeSantis, or maybe Vivek, or anybody else to go through. Somebody who's not going to overturn the results of an election. Okay? That's like, for all of the flaws and the problems with the donor class, with the moneyed interest, one of the things I agree on with them, and they agree on with me, is that we'd still like to keep this little thing called a peaceful transfer of power. Call us crazy, right? It's like the one area of agreement I have with the donor class. Well, anyway, so here he is going after DeSantis, and this is fun.
When he got asked up in New Hampshire by a 15-year-old about his point of view on the January 6th riot, he said, well, I wasn't in Washington that day, so I don't know as much about it. Well, man, I wasn't in Washington either, okay? But I have a TV set, and I saw what was going on, and I got an opinion about it.
Damn. Look, he's right. DeSantis has been really soft pedaling the attacks on Trump. He came under fire recently because he basically said that Trump and his politician supporters and potentially a lot of his voters are, quote, listless vessels who are just in a cult of personality, which, by the way, he's 100% right about. And he was basically mad because he's like, I'm being the most conservative. Why don't you support me? Well, I got bad news for you. It's not about the policies with these people. It's about the vibes. It's about the show. But that was like the most aggressive I've seen him be against Trump yet. He has been going with the electability argument, like, I can actually beat Biden. You can't beat Biden. But outside of that, yeah, there's still a lot of, like, pussyfooting around and acting like a lot of these charges against Trump are unwarranted. And, same as the Vivek line where he goes, there's a difference between a bad judgment and something that's criminal. And so they're still effectively defending Trump despite everything. He's in between a rock and a hard place, DeSantis is. Because if you go after Trump harder, that's probably not going to work. You might go down. If you don't go after Trump at all, that's probably not going to work. You're going to go down. If you try to, like, pick your spots and go after Trump and do, like, a medium approach where sometimes you go after him, sometimes you don't, which is what he's doing, well, that's not really going to work because you're still going to come across as, like, meek and nebbish and cuckish and, like, weak. And so he's just in between a rock and a hard place because if it's all about the vibes, if it's all about the show, then what are you supposed to do? I still am surprised, though, by Christie going after DeSantis because I was thinking you're just trying to clear a lane for somebody else to win, not named Donald Trump. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Christie really is of the mindset that I could win this thing because I'm unchained now. Because the first time Christie ran in 2016, he was chained. He listened to the consultants and the staffers who said, you can't be yourself. You got to reel it in. You got to be more like a politician. You got to be more calm. You can't yell at people, etc. And that was the worst advice that they could have given him and the worst advice he could have listened to. Because who ended up winning the primary? Donald Trump. Why? He was the most loud, the most obnoxious, the most over the top, the biggest showman. And that's what Chris Christie's whole game is. I'm the most obnoxious. I'm the most arrogant. I'm the most over the top. I'm the biggest showman. So now he's really leaning into it. But most of it, of course, is anti-Donald Trump stuff. But to go after DeSantis, maybe he is trying to win this thing. And we've seen the numbers coming out of New Hampshire, right? He surged into second place in New Hampshire in some polls. That's shocking. Now, let's not get it twisted, though. He's still at like 2% nationally, so he's still got a huge hill to climb, and who knows if this lane is a real lane that he's running in. But now he's firing at everybody and their mom. I do support it. In fact, I got to be honest with you guys, the thing I'm looking forward to the most in the debates, it's probably Christie. We know he's going to go after Trump, but who else on the stage is he going to go after? Is he going to go after Vivek, who's Trump's biggest water boy out there? And Vivek is quite a talker. He's a prime bullshitter. I call him the Republican Pete Buttigieg. And he'll be talking a million miles a minute, right? And seeing them go back and forth will be fun. Seeing DeSantis make awkward faces on stage is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I'm certainly looking forward to it. By the way, shameless plug, we got a special Crystal Kyle and Friends breakdown of the debate happening a day later. I'm also going to be going on Breaking Points with Emily Jashinsky and Sagar and Crystal to do a reaction. the morning after the debate, so I'm looking forward to all that stuff. But here he is turning his guns on DeSantis, and you have to say, on the substance of this one, it's true. He did say, like, well, I wasn't in D.C. Oh, really? 99.9% of the country wasn't in D.C. Actually, those numbers probably aren't right. But over 95% of the country wasn't in D.C. And we still all have an opinion. We saw what happened. We read about it. We have the video. You know, Jesus Christ, man. What a dodge. What a weak dodge. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see how far this Christie thing could go. But I'm obligated by law at the end of this rant to point out the obvious about Chris Christie. He's good on one issue. I don't want to do a coup. I want to keep the peaceful transfer of power. He's good on that one issue. Literally every other issue, he's a disaster. He's still for tax cuts for the rich. He's still for deregulation. He's still for outsourcing jobs. He actually, in some ways, is worse than Trump because he wants to cut Social Security and Medicare, and Trump is the one thing he's actually stayed true to his word on. So just to be clear, because as Chris Matthews said on Breaking Points the other day, Chris Christie has become the liberals' new pinup bully. Oh, that's a dark sight. Oh, that's a disturbing one right there. But he's right. He's right. But you just got to take him for what he is, which is a giant wrecking ball, no pun intended. But I like how he's firing in every direction in this Republican primary. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.